And the survey says... We appreciate you so much for watching.
What's up, everybody? This is actor Darrin, Dewitt, Henson, and you're watching the Michael Finkley Show. Stay tuned, because there's a whole lot more.
Finkley sits down with B2K's Raz B. He opens up to us about everything you need to hear and you want to hear. It's a Finkley exclusive you don't want to miss. Happening April 25th. On the next Michael Finkley, Dr. Zackory Kirk is with us as he discusses his advocacy for the African American community. Next Finkley. Next.
If I can make it through the night, just to see a brighter side, 'cause I've been working all my life just to make.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Michael Finkley Show. Thanks for joining us today. Y'all, a lot of things are happening in the world around us. Rumors of wars. On the celebrity tip, y'all, we're still talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock. Come on. This platform, even though we discuss some of those things, but we don't, it's not the cusp of our show, but we love to bring people on that love to talk about trending topics within the community around us. And of course, we have Dr. Zackory Kirk with us as he talks about his amazing platform. And we also talk about some of those trending topics that are going on in today's world. So y'all, don't you go away. More of the Michael Finkley Show coming up next. Back in a moment. Coming up, we have Dr. Zackory Kirk with us. Back in a moment.
Hey guys, I'm Sydney Hansen. I'm a Southern rock singer-songwriter, and you're watching The Michael Finkley Show.
On an all-new Michael Finkley, speaker and inspiring author Stanley Browning is with us. Wednesday. Hello everybody, it's Finkley from the Finkley Experience. We're an educational consulting firm that specializes in first-generation education. So we assist students with their college and career endeavors. We train school administrators on the state of first-generation students. And also, we partner with colleges and universities to assist with their first-generation population for easy transition from high school to college. So if you're looking for a presenter or a speaker that presents on these topics and so much more, visit our website at thefinkleyexperience.com and learn about all that we do. We're looking forward to working with you.
Everybody, welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Y'all, I'm excited about our next guest because, y'all, you may have seen him go viral many times on social media. He's a social media influencer and an activist. He is Dr. Zackory Kirk. Dr. Kirk, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Michael, for having me on the show. And if you have not seen me go viral, then you need to follow me on social media at the Zacktivist on Instagram, or Zacktivist at TikTok, or at Zackory K on Twitter. Any one of those platforms are viral ready.
See, look, ready. Came ready. I love it. But thank you so much. I'm excited for this conversation. So let's start with the definition of service. When you think about service, what does that mean to you, Doc?
To me, the term service means what you use, your innate talents and gifts, to give back to the world in service of, to be honest with you, and fair, of God's kingdom. So that's exactly how I define service. Like, to me, in my opinion, and I'm no pastor, I'm no minister, I'm just a lay Christian. But, it's a belief that I have that God gave every single one of us talents and gifts. And true service is how we use those talents and gifts to give back to the world that we share with others and build God's kingdom.
I love that. And I love the spiritual sense as well, because we're all spiritual beings, right? I love that definition. And at what age did you decide, or did you come across and saying, I want to help and serve others?
All my life. I think that I was born a servant. It's just a part of who I am. It's always been a calling over my life I'm a big brother. So being a big brother to people is natural for me, being someone who guards over others, protects others, being a caregiver, very natural. I was raised in the United Methodist Church, and the founder of our church, John Wesley, one of his most famous quotes is to do all the good you can for all the people you can. And so from a very young age, that has been a part of like what I believe in. My great-great-grandparents, their names are on the cornerstone of our family church back in rural Mississippi. They were raised with these same philosophies, and it just has been a tenet of who we are as a family.
I love it. I love it. Coming from the root, as we say in South Carolina, the root of it all, right? And it's sprung forth of what we see today. How did Martin Luther King, the ideals of what he stood for, play into what you do today?
You know what, when you think about Dr. King, his later philosophies have had a huge influence on what I believe in and advocate, right? So towards the end of Dr. King's life, he made a transition where it wasn't just simply about civil rights, but it was about economic rights. It was about economic equity and freedom for all people. And that's something that we didn't make a lot of progress on since he passed away. We have not continued to move that needle, and we still see huge gaps and disparities all across our nation among racial groups. And it's something that we all have in common. And so that was a huge influence. In addition to that, the lessons from his life, not even so much what the words of Dr. King for me, but it's about the things that he went through and what happened to him that resonate. Number one, Dr. King was a chosen leader, not to take away from his greatness, not to take away from his impact. But if Dr. King did not look the way he looked, if he was not able to articulate the way that he was able to articulate, he may not have been able to be the leader in the face of a movement. There were darker brothers and sisters who had just as much talent that were overlooked. There were LGBTQI plus brothers and sisters who were also overlooked. And all of that has influenced me and has helped shape my activism to be an activism that is going to always be inclusive and that's always going to speak the truth, no matter what.
That's amazing. And we see that in what you do today via your social media, via your other platforms, in the work that you do, especially in the field of education as well. So you talk about a lot of different things on your platform, from education to social justice to racism. Why do you think that the viewers that watch your platform need to know these things in 2022?
Because we are living in an age where what I call disinformation is running rampant. It's not even misinformation, right? Misinformation could be where someone is trying to inform someone and they make a mistake, right? Misinformation. We're not in an era of just misinformation. We're in an era of disinformation, of deception, where you have news sources and you have media outlets who are very focused and very targeted on disinforming the Black community. And it is something that I feel everyone needs to take responsibility for, who know better and who can do better and who have the ability to illustrate that. They have to get on their platforms and they have to share the truth. We know that during the 2016 election, the Black community was targeted by Russians. This is a known fact. It came out in numerous depositions. They were the subject of bot attacks, of cyber attacks, of tons of misinformation and disinformation on Facebook that they bought into, that they began to then proliferate. The whole entire movement then didn't stop. It became even more rampant. And we have organizations, and Michael, I have no problem, calling them out. This is what I'm about to say is no reflection of Michael Finkley or the Michael Finkley Show, but you have organizations like the Shade Room, and you have organizations like Media Takeout. You have platforms like Charlemagne the Gadfly and the Breakfast Club, who continuously proliferate a message that is anti-support, is in direct opposition to the better well-being of the Black community. And I feel as though it is the work of micro-influencers who know better to fight and combat that disinformation. Now, some of your viewers may be thinking to themselves, well, what is he talking about? Give me some examples. When you look at how Charlemagne the Gadfly grilled Vice President Kamala Harris, a Black woman who is a key target by conservative Republicans and external factors, to be taken down because she is herself a Black woman, you didn't see him do that to Mike Pence. You didn't see him even make any efforts or attempts to interview Mike Pence, a white man. Those are the types of things that bring this man and his platform onto my radar. In addition, right at the heart of the economic, where you see jobs starting to improve in our nation, where you see the American economy, not the inflation, but the economy and the jobless rates improve for Black people. You have someone like Charlemagne the Gadfly getting on his platform saying that he wishes Trump was back in office. This is what I'm talking about, because these people have huge platforms. We can't take that platform away, but what we can do is use our own platforms to combat what they say. The Shade Room and Media Takeout, these organizations are heavily financed by a lot of corporations that have their own interests. And sometimes those interests are in opposition to the interests of the Black community. That is why I have chosen to use my little platform broadly. There are a lot of influencers who, once they know how to assemble and curate high quality content, they use that content to promote themselves. They're shirtless and they're showing their bodies and they're twerking their behinds, and that's fine. I enjoy watching a little twerk here and there as well. But that is not what I'm called to do with my platform. I could curate, and they get great brand deals and they bring in tons of money. That's not, to me, a platform that's worth having if it's not doing something for the greater good, if it's not in service to the community.
Oh, wow. Now that's a mouthful in itself. And it's seen every day, right? Every day you look on social media, you turn on the news, it's there. So you as one individual is doing your part, right? How can others, right, grab the mindset that you have and continue on with this journey of getting the real word out?
So, you know what? I'll say this. Everyone, I firmly believe that every single person has something important to say and contribute, period. No matter who you are, everyone does, right? And I think that everyone has micro influence that they need to leverage. And if they take these small steps, our world will become a better place. Now, everyone isn't necessarily called to do what I'm doing, and I don't fault them for that. But I do fault you when you're doing nothing at all. When you are choosing to use your platform for only the purpose of self-promotion or the pointless self-promotion of others like Kim Kardashian and these other pseudo-celebrities, that bothers me, because it's a missed opportunity to truly do what your talent and gift really may be. So I really would love to see everyone just simply take whatever platform they have and use that platform just to simply share with the world their talents and their gifts. If you are a talented cook, share with the world those recipes. Show us how you do and make magic in the kitchen. If you are a skilled seamstress, show us how you develop, design, and put together these amazing patterns to create clothes and the fabric choices that you make. Show us what you do, because that is going to be how you contribute to people's lives in our world. And so that's what I would say for that, because everyone may not be called to activism, but everyone is certainly called to act.
That belongs on the shirt so everyone can see. Everyone,
you know, maybe that would be the shirt. Maybe that'd be my Zacktivist shirt. Not everyone is called to activism, but everyone is called to act. Maybe I'll put it on one.
Trademark.
Put it on green for St. Patrick's Day, right? Put it on green, maybe. Month of March.
Month of March. I love it. I love it. So let's talk about some of the trending topics that are happening today in current time. So when I say these phrases or I say this word, I want you to just talk from the dome. What does it mean to you? Well, how do you think that we can resolve? So let's talk about teacher shortage.
Yeah, Michael, all I do is talk from the dome, right? That's all I do. You never get anything from me but, talking from the dome. Last night I was on the BBC show, the Bicker and Banter with Coleman show on iHeartRadio. And he was like, you're the first guest to ever walk in without any notes or prepared materials. And I'm like, it's all right here. It's in this big head. It's big for a reason. It's giant for a purpose. So when you say teacher shortage, what I'm thinking of is how America has failed its children and its educators. That's exactly the first words that come to mind. We're living in a moment when teachers have endured and held the line at one of the most critical junctures in American life, the COVID-19 pandemic. And instead of them being praised and lauded like the heroes they are, we have continuous legislation being put in place to strip them of their professional dignity and force them out of their positions so that the entire field can be privatized by Republican interests and they can continue to make money. This is unfortunate and this is unfair. And that's exactly what I think of when I think of teacher shortage.
So let's dive into the other part as well in that as well. Critical race theory.
A fabricated, made up concept that Republicans are using to prey on the minds of weak constituents who need something to divide them, who need something to believe in, who need an issue that's going to cause them to continue their outrage. Unfortunately, we're living in a moment when we have whole groups of people, and I won't even say the Republican Party, I'm going to say the Trumplican Party. We are living in a moment where there's an entire group of people, what I call the Trumplicans, who are, if they don't have outrage, they have nothing to run on. They do not have a platform. So they're digging deep to find issues like critical race theory and anti-trans persecution legislation in Texas, and don't say gay bills in Florida, to rile up their base of other Trumplicans and give them something to mobilize around. It is unfortunate, and to use the word of former First Lady and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, it is deplorable.
Interesting. I haven't heard that the aspect of critical race theory when it comes down to it's Republican made. Why do you think that is?
Critical race theory was never a concept that has been taught in any high school or any high school curriculum or any middle and elementary school curriculum. It's not a K-12 concept. It has never been a K-12 concept. That is not what critical race theory is. Critical race theory is a type of lens of criticism, critical theory, and it's not just critical race theory. You have critical feminist theory, you have critical Marxist theory, you have a whole variety of criticisms that exist in the humanities that you use to serve as a lens as you read and study a work, as you look at a historical timeline, right? So you can look at the 1960s from a critical race theory lens. You can look at the 1960s from a feminist lens. You can look at the 1960s from a Marxist lens. You can do the exact same thing with the music produced during that time frame, the literature produced during that time frame, as you know, Michael being an English major, and you can look at the artwork produced during that time frame, all through these different lenses. That's all it is. Nothing more and nothing less. And none of that has ever been taught in a K-12 space, because your K-12 students typically do not have the intellectual prowess and stamina yet to do that level of thinking. So it's never been brought to the forefront. And to be honest with you, it's very few spaces, even in the post-secondary world, that do it well, because only a certain type of professor who has certain specialties in criticism even attempts such a heavy lift with their students.
So why do you think people are so threatened by this whole aspect?
Because the Republican Party needs to have divisive issues. The Trumplican Party, trying to be fair, right? Because it's not fair. There are Republicans out here, like Liz Cheney is a Republican. She has always been a Republican. It's not fair for me to say Republican, so I recant and again say Trumplican. The Trumplican people need to have divisive issues for keeping their base enraged, because when they're not enraged and angry, then they're not as successful to this misinformation and disinformation. That's when you turn off the TV and you stop watching the things that are causing you to continue to feed that rage unnecessarily. That is why CRT is a critical component and linchpin of this party's platform. You have to also consider the fact that if you look at data from November until just from when President Biden was elected until the end of his first term in first year in office, you will see a massive swell in CRT legislation. If this was ever an issue, why is it now just being brought to the forefront? What has changed in America that would all of a sudden represent there needs to be CRT legislation on the books? There's never been one CRT bill prior to the Biden administration being in office. Now, all of a sudden, when Republicans have started to lose massive ground in the country, we have the legislation coming to the forefront. It is fully political. That is even more the evidence. Then when you look at the fact that the majority of Americans will tell you that they have never heard of CRT, they don't know what CRT is, they have never had it taught in their schools, nor have they had their kids talk about it, it further proves it's not a real issue. And what we do, Michael, is we even feed into it by our misunderstanding. And then we start talking about, well, they're not going to teach Toni Morrison in schools anymore. Toni Morrison has nothing to do with CRT. We can't even go into the defense of this in a way that gives credibility to it as a concept. So that's my stance on it. I'm not going to even give it any credibility. We talk about, we're not going to even teach Black history anymore. Black history is not CRT. The two things they're wrong. They are wrong in how they have conflated things with CRT, and we cannot support their conflation by acknowledging it.
Next, more with Dr. Kirk. Back in a moment.
My name is James DuBose, General Manager, Head of Program for Fox Soul, and you are watching the Michael Finkley Show, the greatest man walking in his purpose right now. So make sure you tune in if you want to be blessed.
Colors. What the? Oh, God. This one. Yeah, right, Marine. So I guess we don't stand for colors, huh? I'm sorry. I was starving. What was you eating on anyway? Let me put you on. This that Lucy's hoopie pie. Okay. Hey, but before you go, Marine, what can I get me one of those? Oh, at all the Super Target locations, Sergeant. Okay. And where can you get your chart sheet at in the morning? On your desk. As long as we track it.
We have so much to talk about. We have so much to laugh about. All here on Finkley.
And since they already mixed CRT and Black history together, let's go that route. Black history, does it really matter?
Black history matters just as much as American history. Failure to acknowledge and teach the contributions of any group of people to how this country exists and functions is failure to teach how this country exists and functions.
And diving into Black folk, when it comes down to our health and wellness, we see you work out, right? You keep your body up, you eat right. Well, what does that look like in your eyes?
Michael, I do that now, but I think it's always important to tell the whole story. Just yesterday, Mindy Grossman, the CEO of Weight Watchers, announced that she was leaving the organization. And it's so funny that she joined the organization in 2017, and I joined WW, formerly Weight Watchers, in 2017 as well. I weighed 68 pounds more than I weigh now. I was at 240. And I was pre-diabetic and I was beginning to suffer from hypertension. And my doctor was adamant that I take blood pressure medication. And that was a result of being a public school educator who put everybody's wants in front of my needs. When I say wants, I'm saying my principal wanted lesson plans. My students wanted those papers graded in 24 hours. My parents wanted me to tutor their kids after school. And then the seniors wanted me to be their class sponsor. And the prom sponsor wanted me to work with her on the weekends to help her decorate. The wants. But there was a need for my health and my well-being that was nowhere in my purview. But when my doctor said, you're going to take blood pressure medication, that I knew could be a lifelong commitment as well as a lifelong impairment to, my overall well-being, I said, that's not the route that I'm going to take. So that motivated me to then join WW and begin a process of holding myself accountable and really committing myself to following the plan. And it wasn't even so much about losing weight, although I'm thankful that I did. It was about, I'm going to just do what the plan says do. If they say I have 32 points a day, I'm going to sit my behind down and I'm going to stick to my 32 points and I'm going to plan it out. So I'm able to do that well. And the working out actually came after I got the diet under control, because with WW, you're able to earn fit points to eat more food, right? So I love food. Like, I'm going to always love food. I'm from Mississippi, so rural Mississippi. I grew up eating good country food. People say, what's your favorite food? Country food, Southern food, soul food. I'm not from China, and I didn't grow up eating this delicious rice that they serve, and I don't want it now. Like, that's not it. I didn't grow up eating burritos and tacos and great Mexican food. I don't really like it now. I love Southern food. And so to be able to eat the soul food that is indicative of my palate, I have to work out more to have those treats. And so that's what started the working out. And then it all fit together to create like a really strong wellness plan that I've been able to stick to. So 5 years in the game, and the weight's still off.
Wow, 5 years. Wow.
5 years as a WW member.
And a lifetime to go, right?
And a lifetime to go. Yeah, I will. And there may be somebody out there who can do this without a plan, but I'm not one of those people.
Right.
I need the accountability of WW. And yep, I go off the plan. And yep, the weight will go up. But then I get right back on the plan, and then the weight comes right back down. So I need that plan, because without the plan, I will go off the plan and never get back on it. So I need to always have that level of accountability there and know that someone somewhere is watching.
I love it. And they're always watching.
That's
With
right.
all that you've said, with your awesome voice of influence, do you think that you will ever stop talking?
Never. As long as I have life, I will have a voice, and I'm going to always use it. I don't think there's any value in having a voice and not using it. I don't think there's any value in having a life and not living it.
That's another shirt.
We got two. I got two. So I just got to get the designs made. I need good designs.
I love it. Please.
I don't think my Canva skills will translate over into sales. So I'm going to outsource that to a professional. So any professionals watching, hit me up. We can make it happen. I got $25 I can invest in it. 25 for you.
Not 25. Not $25, Doc. I love it. I love it. I love it. One more time, Doc. How can our Think viewers find you on social media?
They can find me on Instagram at the Zacktivist, Zacktivist. They can find me on TikTok, Zacktivist, Zacktivist, or on Twitter at Zackory K, Zackoroyk. If you have any educator friends out there who are watching, they can also follow me on LinkedIn. I am an inaugural member of the LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program. And so the focus of my LinkedIn content has been exclusive to educators, and how educators can use this moment of transition for career change or career deepening. So there's actually 10 weeks of really good, really strong, really rich content on LinkedIn just for them. So they can find me on LinkedIn. It's Zackory Kirk, EDD.
All right. You heard it here, everybody. Dr. Zackory Kirk. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, for having me.
You're very welcome. Think fam, don't you go away. Back in a moment.
Hi, this is Grammy-Nominated Lavell Crawford. You know me. But you are watching my man, Michael Finkley, on the Michael Finkley Show. Keep watching. This brother going places.
Keeping your skin flawless and clean is important, and I have the products just for you. Welcome to Mimi's Natural Pantry, where she specializes in homemade handcrafts, including lye and goat milk soaps, body butters, and sugar scrubs. All items are handmade products. All items have simple ingredients and are vegan friendly. In a world where you can barely pronounce many of the ingredients in your everyday products, Mimi's Back to Nature offers an alternative choice for those who are ready to get back into nature. Ready to order? Visit their website at mimisnaturalpantry.com. All orders over $50 have free shipping up to 25 pounds.
What's up, man? So I know some of us sometimes get in this thing that we don't like to be alone. I don't think nobody really like being alone, but it's actually good being alone. But don't sacrifice or settle anything for somebody else because you don't want to be alone. And a wise man once said, I don't mind being alone because I built myself alone. I built myself alone, and I can really testify to that because it was the times when I was alone, when I was by myself, that created a great character for me, because I got to sit out and think. I got to sit out and ask myself these questions. I didn't have no distractions. So it's good to be alone sometimes. Never settle for less because you scared of being alone in anything. Because you can build yourself in alone. You can do it by yourself. You can do it by yourself. Build yourself up. Take time to yourself so you can really, really know yourself well. So you can get to know yourself. You ever notice somebody who always on the go, always on the move, they don't really know themselves because it's just like a relationship. You got to have a relationship with yourself before you can have a relationship with somebody else. And that's friendship and relationship wise. So you have to learn yourself. But you can't learn yourself if you don't communicate with yourself. If you don't sit down and actually have conversation with yourself. If you don't sit down and learn who you are. And once you learn who you are, then you don't have to be something that you're not for somebody to like you because you know yourself. You know if that person not your crowd. You know that crowd is not for you. You know that person not for you because you know yourself. You know what I'm saying? You know what you like. You know who you are. You know your truth. You know your morals. You know what you believe in. You know your crowd. So always push forward with you first and don't ever settle for less because you don't want to be alone. Because you can do it alone. You built yourself alone. You did it. So you don't need nobody else to do it for you. Remember that all the time.
Hey, what's up? It's actress and singer Christine Horn, and you are watching The Michael Finkley Show. Boom.
On an all-new Michael Finkley, speaker and inspiring author Stanley Browning is with us Wednesday. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. I hope that you learned something from our guest today. Thank you so much, Dr. Kirk, for being with us and just giving it to us like it is, right? Thank you so much for what you do in your platform and being an advocate for our community and beyond. So thank you so much. We appreciate you and continue much success to you. If you're not already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Michael Finkley Show, ring that bell notification. We'll see an email saying, hey, new content's uploaded. Please listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And for more information about what we do on our show, visit our website, michaelfinkley.show.com. Of course, U42, visit us at U42.com for our content and plus some information and some sessions coming up very soon. Exclusive things, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. And guess what? We'll see you next time. Have a good one.